ABC5's Jen Shantz has much more for us from Posen, how she ended up there, and what will happen with her next.
Morgan Geyser was just 12 when she made national headlines. The now 23-year-old was found at this truck stop in Posen late Sunday, just hours after police say she cut off her electronic ankle monitor and left her group home in Wisconsin. Officers here say she was found with a 43-year-old man. Here's Posen's police chief.
Initially, they refused to provide ID. Through further questioning, the female subject made a spontaneous statement that she didn't want to give her name because she did something really bad, and if she told us her real name, that she wouldn't be able to communicate with her male counterpart anymore.
Eventually, she told officers her real name and said they could Google her. They learned she is one of two Slender Man attackers who pleaded guilty to first-degree intentional homicide. Geyser had been at her Wisconsin group home since earlier this year after being in a psychiatric hospital since 2018. Police found her sleeping at this Thornton's on Western and 147th Sunday, along with a man now identified as Chad Mecca. Police released him after charging him with misdemeanor trespassing and obstruction, saying he lied about his name. Geyser has not been charged with anything locally in Illinois. Police say it's easier that way to get her extradited back to Wisconsin. This morning, she was taken to jail in nearby Markham and then to Cook County.
It's very unusual for a small town like ours, but I'm very proud of our officers for going the extra mile and actually pushing the issue of getting her true identity.
Officials in Wisconsin today reacting to the weekend escape and the next steps in this case.
It will be up to Department of Health Services whether they file a petition to revoke her conditional release. We are certainly hopeful that they do. While she was on the loose, we were very concerned about the safety of the victim and her family.
According to Geyser's attorney, right now we do not know the circumstances behind Morgan's departure from the group home, namely whether she left voluntarily or whether something more nefarious took place, such as an induction. We are glad that Morgan was found safely and returned to custody. Posen police say they do not believe an abduction occurred here. They say Mecca and Geyser arrived here by bus. Where they were ultimately headed is still unclear. Geyser has a court appearance tomorrow morning in Cook County at 11 o'clock. In Posen, Jen Shantz, NBC5 News.
Good.
David Moore, ABC's.
Many homes damaged, trees down tonight, severe storms across multiple states now on the move into the Ohio Valley next and then the Northeast. And tonight we're now watching a second major storm system set to hit right after Thanksgiving, just as millions travel back. So Ginger Z is standing by with the forecast. Also breaking tonight, a federal judge tossing out both criminal cases against two of President Trump's biggest political foes, the cases against former FBI Director James Comey and New York Attorney General Letitia James, both out, and the reason why. Tonight, in an extraordinary move, the Pentagon now threatening to court-martial Senator and retired astronaut Mark Kelly after he appeared in that video telling American troops they are allowed to refuse illegal orders. President Trump accusing Kelly of, quote, seditious behavior, punishable by death. Tonight, she was on the run, cutting off her ankle monitor, the young woman who years ago was found guilty of stabbing her classmate 19 times in the woods. Late today, new body camera video just released showing the arrest of the Slender Man attacker, where she was found. Tonight, the cause of death now revealed after that 18-year-old girl's body was carried up a Carnival cruise ship. But authorities have now revealed about her death. With holiday shopping here, the brazen thieves tonight not only stealing off of front porches, but this video tonight going up to a FedEx delivery person and taking the package out of their hands. Authorities tonight saying this is sophisticated. They know the electronics being delivered, and they have the addresses where they're going to. The war in Ukraine tonight, the peace talks, the Thanksgiving deadline, what President Trump is now saying tonight, and what President Zelensky has signaled. Tonight, new heartbreak for the Kennedy family. Caroline Kennedy's daughter, JFK's granddaughter, Tatiana Schlossberg.
Yes. We back in the building with another podcast vlog. And I call it a podcast vlog. This is something that I made up. But we back in the building with another podcast vlog. And I'm your host, Hand 5000. And this is RDP, aka Rod Dope Podcast. Y'all know what's up with me. Tonight, I just said, where's the industry headed, man? Tonight, we just going to talk about money, murder, betrayal, lies. And where's the music industry? Where's entertainment headed to next? Because we done seen people that do everything from writing books to recording music to movie executive to just rich people just all just getting caught up. You know what I'm saying? We seeing teenage girls' cars getting found in trunks. We seeing rappers go to trial for murder. We seeing dudes, Diddy go to trial for RICO. Different. It's just so much stuff going on in the world, man. And I just wanted to cover all that today. It's like, man, topic. It's just everything's a topic right there. Everything's a topic. Everything's a topic tonight, man. So please, before y'all step in here, super violate that like button. Super violate that like button. I just did. I just like my own video. That's first like y'all see right there. That's me. Just like my own video. What's up, man? What's up? Do I have that's crazy, bro. I had Top Gun poster and I got rid of it at my other spot. But Top Gun Black Hawk is something that I would like to have. I like fighter jets and shit. That I do. You know what I'm saying? I like fighter jets. Straight up and down. But hit that note. Come on, man. Violate that. Okay, you got the whoopee jokes, man. With Henry Muff. How your name is Harry Muff. Excuse me, Harry Muffin. So your last name, you got muffin in your name. So you straight a buttercup, cherry jelly with the crimplet. You know what I mean? Use a Twinkie, Harry Muff. Use a Twinkie. You know what I mean? Use a Twinkie. No, I got a lot of interesting posters though. So the first thing we got to get into is your boy Jeffrey Epstein. For my understanding is when I was getting Jeffrey Epstein confused with Harvey Weinstein. I was for a long time. I was getting them confused. So, do anybody in the comment box know how Jeffrey Epstein got rich? You know what I mean? That's just the first thing. Then the Harvey Weinstein thing. Wow. And then the queso, with that charge and his father testifying against him. Tekashi 6ix9ine staging the robbery of his house. That's the lies, the betrayal. You know what I mean? It's like so much going on in entertainment, and we know this go on in the ghettos. We know this goes on in the suburbs. We know this goes on outside entertainment. We see it every day. But when it's publicized, we're seeing some of the most embarrassing things to per se. I have to be totally honest. It's embarrassing thing that we seen rappers go to prison. We seen rappers come home. We're just saying so much, and it's hitting the industry, and it's one of those things that I think to myself. I say, yo, what is it coming through? It's murder. It's all of the above that's in the description, and I say, what is it coming to? Like, why is this happening? You know what I'm saying? Like, what happened? Do you notice entertainment has had more sad and depressing parts over the years than it has more fun parts, like waiting for the award shows and waiting for certain things that's just not happening no more. Now you're waiting for the next news to come for you to go viral. You get what I'm saying? That's what the world is coming to. Rappers turning podcasters turning rappers, civilians turning gangster. Silver Spoon kids turning gang members. Hollywood is just getting more worse and worse. Women are being violated at an all-time high. Dirty secrets are exposed. It's like kind of like the end of the world. And they say the industry is just like the most corruptest ever right now. So I was like, damn, what is the entertainment business coming to? You know what I mean? Put it in the description about what is the entertainment coming to. You know what I mean? What is the entertainment coming to? You know what I mean? Like, come on now. Like, I don't know. I don't know, man. You know, that's what they're hitting that comment box. Let's get into some of this. Get into some global news. What's going on?
Get things moving after he publicly urged Attorney General Pam Bondi to go after Comey and James. We have to act fast. Halligan took over after Trump forced out her predecessor.
Hi, can you speak on your nomination?
Today, the judge ruling Halligan's appointment was unlawful because she was replacing another interim U.S. attorney. As the Attorney General gives her approval after the fact, that cannot be the law.
We'll be taking all available legal action, including an immediate appeal.
Comey says the stakes couldn't be higher.
The message has to be sent that the President of the United States cannot use the Department of Justice to target his political enemies. You have to see that as fundamentally un-American and a threat to the rule of law that keeps all of us free.
DOJ vowing to appeal the case, but tonight the judge suggesting that the Justice Department may not be able to pursue the same charges against Comey because the statute of limitations for those charges has run out and the indictment is now void. David?
Peter Thomas,
What's
live
good,
from
bro?
Washington. Peter, thank you. Now to an extraordinary move tonight. The Pentagon now threatening to court-martial Senator and retired astronaut Mark Kelly after he appeared in a video with other Democrats telling American troops they are allowed to refuse illegal orders. Here's Mary Bruce tonight.
Tonight, the Pentagon announcing it's investigating, quote, serious allegations of misconduct against Arizona Senator Mark Kelly for recording a video with 5 other Democratic lawmakers urging military troops not to follow illegal orders.
That was a captain in the United States Navy.
Former CIA officer.
Former Navy.
Kelly, who flew 39 combat missions in Iraq before going on to become an astronaut, now threatened with a court-martial for saying this.
Our laws are clear. You can refuse illegal orders.
You can refuse illegal orders.
The president has blasted the lawmakers as traitors, accusing them of seditious behavior punishable by death. He shared another post that said, hang them, George Washington would. Kelly, who is married to former Congresswoman Gabby Giffords, who was shot in 2011, calling Trump's comments disturbing.
I know a little bit about political violence. My wife, Gabby, was nearly assassinated. She was shot in the head because of political violence. She nearly died.
I remember that. I remember that. I remember that. That's just serious. You see what I'm saying? The world is corrupt as fuck, bro. The world is corrupt as fuck, bro. Like, it's so corrupt, bro. Like, it's so much stuff happening just like outside of the norm. You just be like, yo, what? Every day, bro. Like, every day you cut your, if you go to Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, you know, whatever it's called now, X, and it's like and all of these platforms, like real serious platforms, like, yo, bro, it be real shit going on. Like, from the industry to the streets to the politics, it be real shit going on. And I feel like the industry stuff, the entertainment stuff, is a real blockage of what's really going on. I'm not gonna lie to you. Did you hear what he said? By him telling the military that Trump said, you know, their consequences, death, for like telling the military don't take a order that's unjust. You could die for that. I just learned that with y'all. I really just learned that with y'all. Come on, man. Double tap that like, man. Get them likes in here, man. I'm in here for a minute. It's only 10:40. Them likes in here, man. Let's get up. I need batteries in here.
Sis Trump wasn't calling for the lawmakers to be executed, but the president making it clear they should pay.
Well, I think Pete Hegseth is looking into it too. I know they're looking into it militarily.
And today, Defense Secretary Hegseth acted, calling the video despicable, reckless, and false, adding encouraging our warriors to ignore the orders of their commanders undermines every aspect of good order and discipline. But tonight, Kelly, defiant, posting this picture of the many military medals he's earned, writing, I've given too much to this country to be silenced by bullies who care more about their own power than protecting the Constitution. Now, Kelly is the only one of the 6 lawmakers to be investigated by the Pentagon because, unlike the other military veterans, Kelly is retired and receiving benefits and still subject to the Uniform Code of Military Justice. David.
Mary Bruce live at the White House. Mary, thank you. Now to the chilling case that made national headlines, the Slender Man case. Overnight, we learned a young woman who years ago stabbed her classmate 19 times in the woods was on the run after cutting off her ankle bracelet. Late today, new body camera video just released showing her arrest. Here's ABC's Alex Perez tonight.
Morgan. MORGAS.
Tonight, new body camera video showing the moment Morgan Geyser, convicted of brutally stabbing her classmate 19 times as she tried to crawl away in the woods in the infamous Slenderman case, was arrested after escaping from a group home in Wisconsin.
She seemed very nervous. She simply told the officer, "Here's my real name. You can Google me and you'll find out who I am."
Police say Geyser cut off her ankle monitoring bracelet on Saturday before fleeing on a bus with a 42-year-old friend she met at church. Officers tracking them to a truck stop about 165 miles away near Chicago, where they were sleeping on the ground.
I don't want to give you my name.
At first, refusing to give her real name.
I did something really wrong.
Morgan Geyser was convicted with her friend Anissa Wire of luring Peyton Leitner into the woods in 2014, stabbing her 19 times. They said they did it to please the fictional online character Slenderman. Geyser was sentenced to 40 years in a mental institution, but was recently allowed to move into a group home. In 2019, Peyton told David she didn't fear her attackers being released.
Do you fear for the day that either one of them is back out in the community?
No, because if they ever come near me, they're going right back in. So
you don't walk around with that?
No. When they get out, I don't think it's going to change my life at all.
And David, Peyton's family says that they are safe and working with authorities to remain safe. David?
Alex Perez with us tonight. Alex, thank you. This evening, the cause of death now revealed in the case of that 18-year-old girl whose body was carried off a Carnival cruise ship. Authorities say she died of mechanical asphyxiation. Court filings indicate a step-sibling could be under scrutiny. ABC's Victor Akendo interviewing the grandparents who were also on that cruise ship.
Tonight, more than 2 weeks after the body of Anna Kepner was found in her cabin aboard a Carnival cruise, her death ruled a homicide. Authorities now say the 18-year-old was mechanically asphyxiated by another person or persons. It comes as Anna's grandparents are speaking out about their heartbreaking loss in an exclusive interview with ABC News. They were on the ship with their granddaughter.
I just screamed. I couldn't stop screaming.
Barbara and Jeffrey Kepner were with their son, his wife, and their grandchildren when a housekeeper discovered Anna in the cabin she was sharing with her brother and stepbrother. In an unrelated custody dispute filing, Anna's stepmother has called Anna's stepbrother a suspect in Anna's death.
Do you think he had anything to do with Anna's death?
He was the only one seen coming and going. So I can't accuse him because I don't know what happened in that room. But the summation would be that he did something.
Anna's grandmother says she sat in for part of the stepbrother's interview with the FBI.
He was an emotional mess. He couldn't even speak. He couldn't believe what had happened.
The grandparents say Anna and her stepbrother were close.
He was a good student.
Played soccer.
He played soccer. Very quiet young man. He had demons, I think, in his past, and he was trying to deal with those.
David, the grandparents tell me Anna and her stepbrother got along well. Anna was a straight-A student. She wanted to join the Navy after high school. We're still waiting for the official toxicology and autopsy reports to be released. David?
Victor Akendo on this case again tonight. Thank you, Victor. President Trump tonight signaling possible progress in ending the war in Ukraine. The president saying now, quote, something good just may be happening, following talks between Ukraine, the U.S., and the EU. President Zelensky tonight signaling the original 28-point U.S. plan has been slimmed down. Sources telling ABC News there will no longer be a strict limit on the Ukrainian army, and the proposal for Ukraine to give up land to Russia will be addressed when Zelensky talks to President Trump. Russia says it will have to review the plan again. Tonight here, the new heartbreak for the Kennedy family. Caroline Kennedy's daughter, JFK's granddaughter, Tatiana Schlossberg, revealing she is dying from cancer, a rare form of leukemia. Tonight, hear the moving words from the young mother and wife and why she says she always wanted to protect her mother, Caroline, from more pain. Here's Rhiannon Alley.
Tonight, Caroline Kennedy's daughter revealing heartbreak has hit the Kennedy family again. In her own devastating words, Tatiana Schlossberg, an environmental journalist, wife, and mother, writing that she is dying of a rare form of leukemia. Schlossberg is just 35. Writing in the New Yorker, my first thought was that this couldn't be happening to me, to my family. Grappling with her own mother, Caroline Kennedy's unimaginable pain during a lifetime of challenge. Caroline's father, President John F. Kennedy, assassinated when Caroline was just 5 years old. 5 years later, her uncle, Robert F. Kennedy, assassinated too. And then Caroline's younger brother, JFK Jr., along with his wife, Carolyn Bessette Kennedy, killed in 1999 when the small plane JFK was piloting crashed in foggy weather off Martha's Vineyard. For my whole life, Schlossberg writes, I've tried to be good, to be a good student and a good sister and a good daughter, and to protect my mother and never make her upset or angry. Now I've added a new tragedy to her life, to our family's life, and there's nothing I can do to stop it. As the 35-year-old now works through her own heartbreak, a young mother herself, 2 young children, she writes, my son might have a few memories, but of her daughter, I don't know who really she thinks I am, and whether she will feel or remember when I am gone that I am her mother. David Tatiana said her sister Rose and her brother Jack both tried to be donors, thanking her husband George and the rest of her family for being by her side and for coming together to raise her children. David?
Her incredibly brave words. So many people reading those words this weekend, Rhiannon. Thank you. When we come back here with holiday shopping now here, authorities tonight on this newest scam, the brazen thieves. Take a look at this, not only stealing off of front porches, but now right from the hands of a FedEx delivery person. Apparently, these thieves know the electronics they're stealing and they know the addresses. That's why they're showing up. We'll have more in just a moment. Also, the urgent search for a high school football coach, an undefeated season. He's now been missing for days. The active investigation underway tonight. And the new baby just in time for Thanksgiving. Look at this. This just might be one of the cutest babies you have ever seen. The message they have just sent in tonight from this American zoo. You have to see this in a moment. Tonight on Long Island, the thieves caught stealing deliveries, approaching a FedEx delivery man in broad daylight, ripping a package from his hands. Officials say at least 14 people were part of a sophisticated network of thefts on Long Island. The group has been stealing electronics. They say some of those electronics sent to these homes by the thieves, who then intercepted the packages. Tonight, the active search for a high school football coach in Wise County, Virginia. Travis Turner was last seen Thursday. Police using drones to try to find him. Turner, a coach at Union High School for 11 years. Currently in an undefeated season. No official word on what led to his disappearance. When we come back here tonight, remembering legendary singer Jimmy Cliff. I can see clearly now the rain is gone.
God.
So this is a deadly riot after a Christmas tree lighting ceremony in Chicago. Gunfire there left a 14-year-old dead, 8 teens injured, rioters attacking police. President Trump weighed in on Truth Social, writing, quote, massive crime and rioting in the Chicago Loop area. Multiple police officers attacked and badly injured. Governor Pritzker and the low IQ mayor of Chicago are refusing federal government help for a situation that could be quickly remedied. The people are chanting, bring in Trump. All right, well, here's Mike Tobin, who joins us live, reporting on the ground in Chicago. What can you tell us about what went down?
And Jillian, we just couldn't make it through even the tree lighting ceremony without significant violence, as the shocking violence in Chicago just keeps coming. You mentioned that 14-year-old who was killed. His name was Armani Floyd. The coroner said his cause of death was multiple gunshot wounds. Now, that shooting was the second of 2 shootings that evening, just about an hour earlier, right on State Street, about 10 p.m. in front of the historic Chicago Theater. Gunfire broke out. 7 people were shot. Their ages ranged from 13 to 17. And their shootings followed a trend called a teen takeover, where young people post something on social media and then they swarm an area. Kids reportedly had shown up from southern as well as northern suburbs. The alderman of that ward says the teenagers were rioting. Right now, it's not known what sparked the gunfire. It is not known if the 2 shootings are connected. Now, Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson again placed blame on the availability of guns, but he did this time direct some blame at the kids participating in the takeover and seemed to accept some responsibility.
What we put in place did not do enough to prevent what we were concerned about from actually manifesting.
No suspects are in custody. A Chicago police officer was reportedly injured. We're waiting for an update on that officer's condition. Jillian?
All right, Mike Tobin in Chicago for us.
So more on this now with Chicago resident Kat Trust, director of the Community Roundtable. And welcome back here, Kat. Good morning to you. I just want to show our viewers some numbers here, okay? Violent crime in 2025. Year to date, murders 378. Shootings 1,300. Robberies 5,200. Felonies, theft 16,400. Whether it's the mayor or the police chief, I'd just be pissed off if I saw those numbers. I mean, enough is enough, Kat.
Well, we've been pissed off, and we became pissed off when Brandon Johnson actually took office and, moved to remove police officers from our Chicago public schools. And, we're seeing this violence. We're seeing it being perpetrated with our youth. So we know that there's an issue with youth, and we know that it is starting in the schools. And when they plan these parties and these get-togethers, they get on social media, they get together with their friends, and they're talking about it at school. There was a measure over the summer that was put in place where we had some local officials who were really concerned about the violence, saying to the mayor, hey, listen, we need to do something about this. We need to maybe put some mechanisms in place where these young people have to have an adult with them when they're coming downtown.
Dang.
The mayor voted against it. And they put another plan in place, but
that the mayor appeared to start taking some responsibility over the weekend, but he did also take pains to point out that all this went down despite what he calls heightened law enforcement presence, 700 additional officers, and violence intervention workers that were in the area when all this went down. That message from him, loud and clear, I don't want more cops. That's not going to solve my problems. What do you think of that?
Well, I think that as much as he may not want more cops, I think that more cops are needed. Not only are more cops needed, we need more intervention services needed, but we also need to hold our young people accountable. And that's one of the biggest things that I think that really needs to happen. They need to understand that when they come downtown or anywhere in the city and participate in these kinds of events and cause any kind of confusion, especially where there's a loss of life, then there needs to be consequences.
Yeah, just look at the numbers here, right? From over the weekend, a 14-year-old boy, grazed wound, 15-year-old boy shot in the left thigh, 17-year-old boy, 14-year-old girl, 15-year-old boy, 14-year-old boy, 13-year-old girl, on it goes. There was another story in Chicago that broke over the weekend, however, that is equally as disturbing. The Secretary of Transportation, Sean Duffy, revealing this on X. All right, here we go. It's devastating that a career criminal with 72 prior arrests is now accused of attacking 26-year-old Bethany McGee on Chicago's L train and setting her on fire. This would have never happened as thugs have been behind bars, yet Chicago lets repeat offenders roam the streets. Chicago's carelessness is putting the American people at risk. No one should ever have to fear for their life on the subway. Kata, I don't know if it's the laws. I don't know if it's the judges. Maybe it's both each other. This cannot be acceptable. 72 arrests.
There are so many extenuating
Hey,
factors.
Chicago,
But just let me say this.
Please.
Police, the violence over the last 3 or 4 years have been astronomical, and something needs to be done. And I'll be honest with you and tell you, I absolutely am petrified to ride public transportation.
I can imagine. I mean, it only takes one deranged, heinous crime like this. By the way, we don't know if that young woman will ultimately survive. We know she's still in the ICU. Only one thing has to happen like that for people not to want to get on public transportation for years.
Well, it's really bad. And there are some lines where you can also see on Friday, as those young people were returning from downtown, there's video clips of violence on the CTA trains coming from downtown that day. And so I just think that CTA probably needs their own police. They need people to enforce the laws because it is really bad.
Kata, good luck to you, okay? Appreciate you coming on and sharing some of your feelings. Kata Truss, a resident of Chicago. Let's hope it gets better.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
I say honestly, man, Chicago, man. Ooh, you got people screaming, bring Trump in there. That's what happened, man. That's what happened in the community, yo, when shit get out of control. When shit get out of control and it's not, it get bad, you gotta call in for help. And it's sad that that help is gonna clean the streets up. And they just gotta get their court system together to prosecute some of these cases because it's a tree lighting. And I mean, I get you see the ops anyway, but it's a tree lighting a bunch of people out there. Like, wow. You know what I'm saying? And they're getting younger and younger. You know, criminal activity is getting younger and younger. The average dude coming up in the streets probably start life of crime, man. It probably like it could be younger, but like probably like for us, it was like 11, 12 years old. Like right there. Especially if you live in the ghetto, like 10 to 12 years old, you start, yeah, you know what I mean? You know, from 10 to 12, you might get arrested. You know what I'm saying? Or something that don't I feel like certain situations shouldn't even have. I feel like you shouldn't arrest nobody at a certain age, but if it's gonna a start is gonna be at, it has to be 12, has to be handled, and you have to be given to the care of your mother. I don't think at a certain age you should be, you have to be a teenager to be in, those facilities and group homes. I don't think you should take children away from their parents under the age of 13. That should be like a parent thing, maybe ankle monitoring, maybe community detention, but well monitored. But I don't think a child should be taken from their parent, by juvenile nobody until, if they get in trouble, they should at least be a teenager before you start talking, juvenile justice and punishments and shit like that. That's just my thought. You get what I'm saying? It should be under the care of their parents until 13. If you're 13 years old and you start getting in trouble, it's consequences for that. But, 12, 11, 9, 10-year-old kid, you know what I mean? Nah. You know what I mean? Teenagers, a teenager should just be the age, if they break the law and depending on the crime, you should be arrested. Shouldn't be charged as an adult unless you 17 years old. I think so. I think you should stay in the, you could face adult charges because some kids do some shit the way as though you can't, we get it. But you shouldn't be, given to an adult facility as a kid anyway until 21 years old, and I think the juvenile law should apply for 24 and under. If you was 24 years old, 24 or under, that's when all those juvenile regulation laws should apply. You know what I'm saying? I think so. Me personally, I think so. I think those laws should apply then. And I do believe in juvenile reform, but I know sometimes, juveniles can get in some things that, it has to be a punishment. I get it. It has to be a punishment. You know what I mean? And I'm just talking about if you get arrested, if you under 18 years old. Now you 18, 19, 20 years old and you get arrested for these crazy crimes. I'm never thinking that you shouldn't, by no means necessary, that you shouldn't have an opportunity to get a chance back at society because it's, they could prove different things with the brain and psychological reasons. But, I just don't think, I just think under 24 years old, especially under 18, you shouldn't be able to get a life sentence. That shouldn't be possible. And between 18 to 24, if you get that sentence, it should be some type of reconsideration in there, some type of trying to reform you. You know what I'm saying? That's just what I think. You know what I mean? Because what I'm saying to you, they do give that to other cultures. Like this girl got sentenced to 40 years in a mental hospital, did 9 years and then was in a group home and walked out. You know what I'm saying? So, we were just hearing about that. So you know, it should just be different laws in different ways. It should be handled. That's how I feel, honestly. Now they say the list. They saying this new list with the Epstein files. Like I've been covering the Epstein files. I promise no more Epstein shit after this week. No more Epstein talk after November until we see the bombshells drop in the files. That's it.
As we come on, the chilling new images, the engine coming off the plane. This is moments before the crash in Louisville, killing 14 people. Authorities now pointing to these dramatic new images tonight showing the plane's final moments. Also tonight, the president calling several Democrats in Congress, most of them veterans, traitors in a post. Then in another saying this is punishable by death after they put out a video telling service members that they can refuse, quote, illegal orders. Tonight, the White House is asked, given the president's words in these posts and in this environment, does the president want to execute members of Congress? How the White House answered. Tonight, 2 suspects labeled domestic terrorists after an immigration crackdown accused of ramming into Border Patrol officers. Now the defense says the officer swerved into one of them before opening fire and then appearing to brag about the shooting in text messages that followed. Tonight, the president has signed the Jeffrey Epstein bill into law. The clock has begun 30 days now to release the files. Tonight, even some Republican members of Congress warning against any potential attempts to slow this down. Tonight, the images of that 18-year-old girl, her body being carried off a Carnival cruise ship. The investigation now after a source says she was found wrapped in a blanket and under life vests. What we've now learned in this case tonight. The flash flood emergency at this hour and the potential storm system that could disrupt Thanksgiving week travel. Lee Goldberg is standing by with our first look at the Thanksgiving forecast. The major fire erupting at a climate change conference. The images tonight, people running to safety. The high-speed chase for a murder suspect accused of killing 2 brothers, 2 teenagers. The suspect reaching speeds of 117 miles per hour, what officers had to do. The daring effort to save a shark. At one point, you'll see the image. One rescuer reaching his arm right into the shark's mouth. What they were trying to do. Tonight in Washington, the funeral for former Vice President Dick Cheney, a rare moment of warmth between members of both parties and what former President Bush said about his VP. And America Strong tonight, 1 week now before Thanksgiving, and Deborah Roberts is here with what...
They on her ass.
Morgan, guys.
They on her ass. Yo, weirdo.
Airwick's cordless
The
essential
weirdo.
perfectly portable freight.
He's a weirdo. Let's get into some hip hop talk. It's a weirdo. What he talking about? Cat Williams bodyguard breaks silence on Reggie Carroll. I don't fuck with Cat Williams for that Reggie Carroll situation. I'm from Baltimore. It is what it is. I'm from Baltimore. You know, I ain't got nothing to do with it, but damn, you know what I'm saying? Baltimore dude got killed on your watch, Cat. You know what I'm saying? Cat Williams, all right, but
Live, there is a betting frenzy afoot right now. Get this, over whose names are going to appear in the Epstein files.
And you know that we are sometime in the next 30 days expected to get the release from DOJ.
We are.
Hold your horses on that. At least on paper right now, that's what they're saying. We'll see what hiccups come along the road. But when those files come out, we expect that there are going to be several names in there that have that are not being accused of any wrongdoing. They're just names will be mentioned because they interacted with Jeffrey Epstein at fundraisers or whatever.
Let me just say, I know people who have seen, 2 people who have seen the files, parts of the files, and Donald Trump's name's all over it. There's nothing untoward in terms of anything he did, but his name's all over it. And there are so many other names because he was a social butterfly.
Right. And so some of those names, Donald Trump, as you said, his name is off the board. That's already been resolved. there are a bunch of names that have been resolved already. Bill Clinton, Donald Trump,
Fidel Castro.
He was not on the resolved list,
But he
could have been in the betting, but
he's in it.
he is not among the names on the Polymarket betting site. These are the current odds as we're doing this right now. It is shifting because people are betting money. Ehud Barak, the former Israeli prime minister, 65%.
That's weird.
People believe that his name will appear.
That's weird.
David Koch, 62%. David Copperfield, Ellen DeGeneres,
Dang.
Tom Hanks. Again, these are just people guessing whose names will be mentioned. Alec Baldwin, Tony Blair, Stephen Hawking at 36%, Chuck Schumer, Jamie Dimon. You'd expect that there are going to be some politicians that people put in here. Henry Kissinger
He was a player
is at
back in the day.
32%.
They
Back in the
betting
day.
on this shit.
And Michael Jackson at 30%.
And Michael Jackson may have known Jeffrey Epstein because, we're talking 2000.
About the same age, roughly. I think it's roughly possible.
Yeah, certainly possible.
Anderson Cooper.
Anderson Cooper.
At some age,
Again, this is what people are
But
guessing.
these are people who probably
Yeah.
socialized.
Right, exactly.
They went to
That's
parties
what I
in
think
New
the
York.
bets are based on.
Yeah, Jeffrey
People
Epstein
have done-
loved to fraternize with wealthy
With
people.
famous
He
people.
paid his way into these giant lavish parties.
And he was also a huge name dropper. We
Yes.
know that. So even if he didn't actually know these people, even if he didn't interact with them, he might have
I gotta say,
said
if I was
something about
If I was a
being at
betting man,
party
I would
with
just bet across. They're all going to be in there. You're going to lose some, but I think you're going to win more than you
Well,
lose.
the question is,
he just
they're
named
not,
them.
they're not just mentioning people that he ever knew. They've got to mention them in some context. So the question is, the people who show up, what's the context? They're not going to say, Jeffrey
Yeah.
Epstein knew the following people.
No, but we
They're
know
not
there's
gonna
going to
do
be a
that.
lot of emails from Epstein to people about these people. So, like, even if it's, I saw Barack Obama on television today, does that get
That would-
Obama
yes.
into the betting
I don't
pool?
know,
If
does
so,
it?
Yes, it does.
you can look at my emails.
All
It's
it
gonna be
says
emails
is
about
that the
Barack Obama.
names have to come out as long as the names are mentioned. Right now, by the way, those are the odds, but you can also look on this site at the volume, like what are people betting heavily on, which people. For some reason, Barack Obama, Michael Jackson, and Stephen Hawking are the three people that are getting the most volume of bets right now.
That's really interesting.
Stephen Hawking, huh?
Yeah.
Well,
Who knew?
no, but
There was,
there was
back in
rumors
the
that
day.
there was
Okay,
secret
I
play.
didn't know.
not untoward, but just that
But they knew each
he
other.
partied.
Got it. Right.
Stephen
I've heard
Hawking,
about that.
Stephen
Right.
Hawking
Which,
partied.
by the way, good on him.
Yeah.
Good on him.
Yeah.
No shade. But again, I got to tell you, my spidey senses are, we're not going to see these files. That Donald Trump did this whole thing about, I'm starting a new investigation so he can somehow block the release of this.
And
because
remember-
he's not doing it to protect the people he mentioned, because those are the people he dislikes the most. So there's something more he's
but
planning.
both houses of Congress have now passed this legislation,
I
and
know.
the president's going to sign it.
And the
so-
president signed it.
He signed it, so
But let me ask a question. The DOJ gets, and this is what they're doing right now, they get to decide what they're going to
Exactly.
redact
Exactly. Or withhold.
or withhold. Do they redact? Let's say that it is a completely innocent mention of whomever, say Tom Hanks.
So whomever matters.
Would they redact that person's name?
Just because they didn't do anything?
Because, yeah.
I don't know. They have so much discretion. And would they say, Trump is mentioned here, but it's really unfair, so we'll redact that? Do you
what
think
is the
that's
deal? Oh, well, hold on. Yeah.
Do you think that's a scenario that's possible?
It is 100%
When
a
does
possible
the
scenario.
Department of Justice get to tell the American people
We
what they
won't
get to
know
see
all
and
the
what they
time.
don't? But it's absurd. We now are in a
But that's
position where
that's the deal.
I know, but we have a congressional act now to requiring the release, but they're going to
Subject to
Tom Hanks.
redaction.
It's unfair that he was mentioned
The
because he
law
was eating
says subject
Skittles.
to redaction.
Subject to redaction.
And we all know what that means. That's to protect.
That's why I'm saying you will never be satisfied with what's released.
Kimberly, Michigan, I do believe that President Trump will release the names. I believe he will release all the names. And I believe that we're just going to have to vet them down. This man had a huge sphere of influence, a lot of money. He knew a lot of people. There will be a lot of names on that list. We'll just have to redact as we go and look through the names to vet who might have been on the outs with him or who might have been on the in with him.
Do you live in a rural area?
I do.
Oh my God, I'm so jealous. I'm looking at all that wood. Do you have like a rustic type cabin type thing?
Yeah. My husband hung all the wood.
Do you have a
here.
great fireplace?
No, just a little TV stand that has one.
Nonetheless, it's great. Well, opening.
Man, that Epstein shit some big shit, man. Dang, another big shoot. This should just be in Atlanta. Just
Was the
murder
night before
everywhere,
Christmas and all
y'all.
through the house.
Murder
Not a
everywhere,
creature
y'all.
was stirring. Not even my spouse.
Like, this shit is crazy.
From Fox 5 News, this is Good Day Atlanta at 8 a.m.
A double shooting in Southwest Atlanta leaves one person dead and sends another to the hospital. We are live at Grady with how the survivors doing.
And another Georgia football player is in hot water this morning. Nair Daniels and his mother are both behind bars. We'll tell you why and the charges they now face.
Good morning, everyone. Good Monday morning. Welcome to Good Day Atlanta at 8. I'm Buck Lanford.
And I'm Alex Whitler. Hey, here we go. Another work week, but maybe you're excited for Turkey Day. I know I sure am.
Who's not, right?
Let's get on over to Fox 5 Storm Team meteorologist Joanne Feldman, who was tracking just how Thanksgiving-ish it'll feel out there that day.
Well, by that day, it's going to feel a whole lot different than it's been feeling the last few days. So let's talk about it. A lot of change will happen this week, but not so much today. If you liked the sunshine and the unseasonable warmth of the weekend, we'll continue that today, although it is a chilly start. We've gotten really close to freezing in Blue Ridge. We also have 30s in Calhoun, but now moving up. Maybe it's only a degree, but it's moving up. We're just going to keep going from here, and we'll easily surpass that average high of 61 pretty early in the day, and then get to an unseasonably warm high in the low 70s. Looking ahead, though, starting tomorrow, there'll be wet and stormy weather on the way, and that's going to bring the huge changes in for Thanksgiving. We'll talk more about that coming up in your 7-day forecast in a few minutes. Natalie?
Joanne, thank you. We're getting you out to 285 this morning where we have a crash in East Point. This is northbound, right?
And boy, that killing, that's what I'm telling you. Oh, I want to hear this. Yeah.
Fire your whole research team. This community is terrible. The worst research. Matter of fact, keep so they don't get hired by no other else because they are terrible. So I was bum rushing the stage. Like, what would Ja Rule be doing? That's it. What would Ja Rule be doing at a Brandy and Monica concert besides coming out to the stage to perform with one of the artists? Big shout out to Brandy and the team. Called me out to the stage to do a little 1-2. Saying it happens. It can happen to anybody. It happens to players too. You know what I'm saying? The niggas too. So anyway, points for that. No real points for that. Nick tried it, but whatever. We here. Whatever. And making sure, right, trying to get between everybody that's going on security. It's great. Like, it is what it is. I'm not gonna bash this woman. She's also a black woman, and I wish her luck in what she's doing. But you got to do better too, sis. And I did make a little jokey joke about a book. That breath do look like a stick, though. I'm not gonna lie, but I'm not gonna go. I'm just joking. I'm playing. I'm being entertaining too. But she made a joke about me. I made a joke about her. So it's all love. We're even now. Okay, Tasha, you could go on about your and keep false reporting, getting sued by people. I'm not gonna leave you. You ain't got no money. I'm good.
What if I can build an app that works?
Okay, so if y'all just tapped in, Ja Rule was performing at the Monica and Brandy concert, which is a nice concert. Shout out to Monica and Brandy. I love them both. I'm out of that era. And Max B was there. All the vloggers was reporting, oh, Ja Rule, we got into it with Max B, Entourage, it all broke out that backstage. I don't know. But we hearing the story now. And like I said, I'm not a journalist. I'm an unorthodox journalist. And that's something I made up. And us unorthodox journalists, we don't go do the research to make sure we actually facky. We do research. We look at shit. We study certain shit. But hey, man, we just give our own opinion. We not the one that break the story. I wasn't the one that broke Ja Rule and Max B was fighting backstage. Raw Dope Podcast, this channel, we not into that. We don't break like gospel type news. We break other type news. You know what I'm saying? Rap, you know what I mean? Yeah, something that's worth breaking news. But let's get back into this.
Yo.
You know what I mean? So you know, Ja Rule and 50 Cent been having a beef forever. So anything that happened to Ja Rule, you know, 50 don't give a fuck. It's a 20-year beef that's gonna go to the coffin with him. He probably, even one of them, you know, God called who first, they'll probably laugh at each other. Like, this is
Last Thursday night, Friday
Let's get into
morning,
it.
Ja Rule had got jumped at the Say Less restaurant first. That was the report from Tasha K. We found out that was inaccurate. It actually happened at the Barclays Center where 3 dudes came out and tried to get up on them. They didn't get their full success out, but Ja Rule had admitted yesterday online on his app icon that they did hit him. He was supposed to go on stage and perform with Brandy. Max B had performed prior. Also said that, hey, Max B had nothing to do with it. No involvement, him or his crew at all. It was just a bunch of rumors going around.
Right.
Him and Tasha K had some little back and forth, but we knew 50 Cent could care less. It would have been viral all over the internet, all the websites, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, different blogs. People was most definitely anticipating and waiting and was expecting 50 Cent to come with some type of response in true 50 Cent fashion. That's exactly what he did. Who hit him in his milk dud head like that? And Ja Rule didn't respond to it at first, didn't have nothing to say at all. But he was getting to like back and forth with Tasha K, responding to different fans on Twitter. And yesterday, he finally did kind of get at 50 a little bit and responded to a fan of Tasha K. And Ja Rule, but Ja more P than 50 Cent, to be honest. You forgot 50 was a Golden Glove champion. Ja Rule responded and said, Cap, more lies. Golden Glove champ where? Now, Tasha K didn't like what he said when he went on his app icon and responded and said, Ja, you are a B. And TMZ, y'all some real B's too. You got every outlet calling me a liar only for you to come back and admit you jumped, punched, kicked, etc. all from behind. That's why you ain't got no marks on your face. Had all that smoke for me, but still ain't said it's to 50 Cent dragging you daily. And then he responded to Tasha K and said, cuz you are an effing liar, Tasha. And trust me, I don't give a F about that Herman Monster head having a nigga 50 Cent. He a B. But you my nigga, LOL. And he's actually mocking Tasha K like, my smoke with you ain't real. But he went in at 50 Cent, said he a B. Herman head having all that stuff like that. Like he saw what 50 Cent said.
That's what I said, man. It's
at
just
first he just chose to not address it, but Tasha K brought that up. And what Ja Rule's point that he's trying to make is the way that they played the story. I don't know what Tasha K has said on her live, but I guess her team, I don't know for sure, might have told her that he was bomb rushing the stage. And I guess, because she had said she was going live after he said that she was live because he wasn't at St. Les when it happened. Because she had got reports that he got beat down pretty badly or something. He like, bro, I'm good. My face is straight. Then the location is off. Now, he did come out and say they did get up on me. So that part is correct. But I wasn't bomb rushing on stage, and it wasn't what they was making it seem. To me, Ja Rule just, popping it like he should. Hey, 50 Cent going to continue to go at him. Go at 50 Cent. Why even play anytime either one of y'all in the media? Ja Rule said that he was going to be petty this year. And I'll just say this for Ja Rule, like I said yesterday, bro. Anybody can get jumped. That don't make you take no L. You can say, okay, I got caught slipping, but that don't make you look less of a man. That don't make you weak. Ja Rule is finna be 50, dog. Like he said, bro, I'm not supposed to be out here squabbling and fighting nobody. I'm actually here to do a job, to perform for these fans in the crowd. I'm here to do what I do, which is rap, to put on the show. I didn't come up here to be squabbling and nothing like that. But I see we still got them times in certain places. You got to be on point, do your best to stay on your pivot, and it can still go left, bro. I push, stay on your pivot. I push, stay on point.
Yeah.
I push, keep your head on the swivel on this platform. But that's
man. I want to hear this though. This is important to me. They said when Little Dirt did the podcast with Academic, that was at the same time that Little Paul was killed. But did Academics do that podcast in California? If Act didn't do that podcast in California with Little Dirt, then this shit is a fucking, lies, scandal, betrayal, murder.
Go to Nene.
murder. You know what I mean? Because now before I end at 12, I'm gonna talk about I'm gonna give y'all my opinion about the little dirt situation, a couple situations that's hot on the internet. I'm just gonna give you my opinion, Doug. Nothing more, nothing less. Anybody that know me know I'm a Dirt fan, I'm an OTF fan. I loved the early on Chicago music, and the early on, I fuck with Chance the Rap, I fuck with Common, I fuck with Twister. Everybody know, my two favorite. Well, I'm gonna say my top three favorite Chicago rappers would be Little Dirt, Kanye West, and Common Sense. They are my three all-time favorite Chicago rappers. Shout out to Dirt. I fucked it with Vaughn too. I even like the FBG Duck music. Duck, I thought he could do. Chief Keef to go there, what he do. Chicago got, and I definitely Chop. Shout out to Chop on the beat. Chop does his thing. So Chicago definitely has made a huge mark in hip hop, but outside of Kanye West, Twista, and Common, and a few producers that come from the Chi. It's a bunch of guys from the older era of the Chi-Town mob that was made legacy. Harper Studios in Chicago. That's where Oprah spent a lot of time at. So Chicago has a rich history with music. Got some of the I think Chicago and New York like run neck to neck on a piece of it's a culture out there. It's right. They say Chicago's a beautiful place, a great place to live. They say, the south side of Chicago and certain parts of Chicago, this is where this ignorance and this violence and this negativity go. But they say overall, the music scene, the acting scene, the club scene, they say, fashion. They say Chicago got a lot going on. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of opportunities out in Chicago. Outside of the negativity that they bring every day, that's going on in the ghettos, and it's spilling over into some of the more popular areas that's more tourist friendly. And I believe that, the mayor and the governor is going to get a hold of that shit because they have a beautiful state. And, just like all these beautiful states, you have cities and counties that's a little rough around the edge. But when that city and county get too rough around the edge, you have to call in some type of forces to get things back, in order, because safety first.
She runs after he throws the fuel on her and then lights her as she's running away. I can't even imagine anything so horrifying.
No, I mean, the laws are, you're right. Brandon Johnson's so worried about ICE there. We need people. We need the National Guard. We need people to protect the good citizens of Chicago. This guy, why is he out? What? 72 prior arrests. She's burned. She's affected for the rest of her life. Went through so much pain.
Angela, we gotta hold these judges accountable.
Yeah.
I mean, with these judges, how does these judges sleep at night? They think they're being kind to criminals, and they're showing.
Yeah, about law, man. His name Lawrence, and I'd have been in jail with him, Division 2, 6, 8, and I don't know how the fuck the judges decided to let him out, but he the type, man. He knocking people out over sandwiches, man. On everything, over trays and all that shit, bro. The guards leave an extra tray on the deck, he gonna knock him out. He want the remote, shit like that. He be arguing with the Mexicans over the remote. The Mexicans want to watch I forgot that shit. Carranza, the 12 Carranzas or some shit it's called, and he want to fight with them, bro. He a lunatic. But to set that woman on fire, man, after a long day of work or whatever she was going through, bro. She ain't deserve that, man. His ass need to go to jail. But the feds indict him. He federal, bro. He going fed for this one. The feds ain't gonna let him out of this one. ATF indicted him. So, he get what he deserves, man. But yeah, they need to stop dumping their mental patients out on the streets because they walking downtown.
Now, if you was just listening, that's the guy, the fucking idiot in Chicago who lit a woman on fire. Feds picked it up just like the dude that set his girlfriend on fire. He admitted that he shouldn't be out of jail. They're going to wash you up. You know what I mean? You dudes are going to get washed up for the rest of your... And that shit he did, yeah. He looks older, and he'll have an arch. He'll be bent over before he get out. You know what I'm saying? They're going to wipe him down. Enough is enough. That's what I'm saying. Like, when you do crimes like that, bro, I have no remorse from you. You a stupid motherfucker, man.
slicing, doing whatever, knocking people out. Like they mentally ill, bro. Like you got to send them somewhere, out downstate somewhere, bro, into a cornfield. Let them go ahead and heal up. But condolences to the girl family and all that. She made it, but she fucked up, man. She got burned, man. So I'll keep y'all updated on that. But at least she alive, man. All right, y'all. Next story we talking about is Lil Durk, man. Now I told y'all we had to go back into the original where it all started from, you know. And they saying that during the killing of Lil Pap, the attempt on Quando Rondo, his cousin got killed though. Lil Pap, during that killing, Lil Durk was in an interview with a big podcaster, and they got footage. They got footage of the inside. They got recordings of all around it. Now, my whole question is, did they ride down on this podcaster? Did they ask him, was it before or after? And when did Lil Durk call you and set up the podcast? So was it set up or not? That's the question I got for the podcasters, man. They said it's academics, man. Academics, man. We need answers, brother. And we need answers as bloggers, man. Did they ride down on you, man? Because they rolled down on a manager who booked them flights. We know that for sure. It's in the paperwork. And they ran down on everybody. Number 4, he told them that where the Quando Rondo them was, and he ain't nowhere to be found, man. He ain't locked up, man. He the one who dropped the low just like Teasy. So people kept on inboxing me, asking me about it, man. So I thought that I'll just go ahead and ask it to academics, man. Did they ride down on you? Did you have to tell them, like, what was the reaction, man? We just want to know, man. Hey, but yeah, that's what we got on Lil Durk. It should be more paperwork dropping soon, man, because the feds, they came with their response. And I'm sorry to everybody who want me to speak on Kanika Jenkins. I don't talk about Kanika, man. I don't know what happened, just like y'all don't know. We wasn't there. All her friends are supposed to be friends who was there. They know what happened to her. Until they come out and tell us, man, we'll never know, man. We got to go off what the autopsy saying or whatever her people saying. Other than that, that's what I got on Kanika, man. I really don't even speak on it, man. Rest in peace to her, though. Condolences to her family. Yo, make sure y'all want to get life insurance. It's very important. You don't know when you're going to go, especially if you stand in the trenches, bro. You a face, got a name.
Yeah, that's it for Durk. This is the Durk.
Peace.
So they said Preacher brother Casino got out Krishan Rock crashing from there. 20 boys.
First day in, I'm squabbling a tank twin. Where you from? Because I'm squabbling on stank twinks and poop putts. Oh my goodness, Diddy, you nothing to compare me. They're gonna be like, man, this nigga going crazy. You talking about some.
He was a multimillionaire, businessman.
They say Offset been going crazy too. Finesse 2 times, Stephon Diggs, like I said, bro, it's so much betrayal in entertainment that is really like crazy, like super crazy. Like I don't understand this shit, bro. Like Offset beef with Finesse 2 times, Offset's beef. I mean, oh man, that's why it ain't been no big billboard. You know, that's why hip hop ain't charting. Even though the underground still killing it, you still got artists out here still killing it, getting millions of dollars, beating the road up, all that. But that's why artists ain't making big records. And it never counted to a street because we got big street records that we love and felt like we should have felt like we got plenty of underground shit that dropped this diamond in the ghetto. You know what I'm saying? It's diamond in the ghetto. But the reality is every artist want to hit that Billboard chart. Not every artist, maybe 65% of the artists just want to hit that Billboard chart, want to make history. And the artists that been hitting the Billboard chart making history, they can't make it because like it's just so WWE and watered down right now. It's just not giving. It's not giving what we feel like it should give. You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy. Yeah, I can get it. I gotta hear this. Old Block River trying to slide on Little Tim.
In a Chevy of their choice.
I ain't never seen that man with Young Boy before that shit happened with B-Roy. You see what I'm saying? It's like he using that nigga like as a face card to be around him, like to make them look a little tough. You see what I'm saying?
Who caught that boy? Who stripped that boy? Who caught that boy, man?
After sending King Von to the lobby, it looks like these Obok YNs are still trying to get back. Lil Tim is out here trolling even though it's been 5 years and this shit is about to get deadly again. Today we diving deep into some real street politics that got the whole hip-hop world on edge. Before we get into this crazy story, make sure y'all smash that like button. Every like helps us grow this gang and keep bringing y'all the realest content. To understand how we got here, we need to go back to November 6th, 2020. That's the night King Von unfortunately got smoked outside that Atlanta hookah lounge. Lil Tim, Quando Rondo's homeboy, was the one who pulled that trigger in what he claimed was self-defense. The courts agreed, charges got dropped, but the streets never forgot, and they damn sure never forgave. For 5 years, this beef been simmering on low heat. NBA Youngboy been taking shots at O-Block through his music. Lil Tim been moving around with YB like he untouchable, and O-Block been plotting in silence. But fam, what happened this week just turned that simmer into a full boil. Let me paint the picture of how deep this goes. King Von wasn't just any rapper. This dude was O-Block royalty. He came up under Chief Keef's wing, but Von had something different. While Sosa was making drill music, Von was living it. Dude had multiple bodies on his record, and the streets knew his name way before the music industry did. When Von died, it wasn't just losing an artist. O-Block lost their general, their voice, their hope of making it out the trenches. Here's where it gets crazy. NBA Youngboy just dropped this freestyle called Zero IQ, and this track is straight disrespectful to King Von's memory. But Lil Tim, this dude took it to another level. He hopped on TikTok, posted a video of himself vibing to the song, and started rapping along to the most disrespectful bars. The lyrics that got everybody heated: who popped that boy? I'm him. Who starched that boy? I'm him.
Who caught that boy? Who stripped that boy? Who caught that boy, man?
This ain't no subliminal. Lil Tim was straight up bragging about killing King Von on social media for the whole world to see. The audacity of this goofy is unmatched, for real. But here's what really got the streets talking: the timing. Lil Tim posted this TikTok on November 6th, 2025, the exact same date King Von died, but 5 years later. And get this, that same day, November 6th, 2025, Lil Tim's grandfather passed away. Same date, 5 years apart. The internet went absolutely crazy when people started connecting these dots. Now let me break down why this TikTok hit different than all the other dissies. See, up until now, most of the shots been thrown through music, subliminals, metaphors, coded language that gave artists plausible deniability. But Lil Tim just threw all that out the window. He looked directly into that camera, rapped those bars word for word, and made sure everybody knew exactly what he was talking about. The video itself was calculated too. Tim wasn't just randomly vibing to the song. He was in what looked like a studio or professional setting, good lighting, clear audio. This wasn't no spontaneous moment. This was planned content designed to get maximum attention and disrespect. Now, Muna Aiki from O-Block wasn't having none of this disrespect. This dude been one of the most vocal O-Block members since Von passed, and he immediately took to social media to address Lil Tim directly. Iki called out Lil Tim for using King Von's death as a face card to stay relevant and questioned why he only started hanging around NBA Youngboy after the Von situation.
I ain't never seen that man with Youngboy before that shit happened with B-Roy. You see what I'm saying? It's like he using that nigga like as a face card to be around him, like to make them look a little tough. You see what I'm saying? Okay. That's how I look at it. But I ain't really like.
So if it was
something, it ain't much I can say because I'm still I'm working on my way up and shit. You see what I'm saying? I ain't. If my time will come, it's whatever. But it's just that shit, like that specific shit like that.
In that interview with FYBJ Maine that's been making rounds, Muna Iki broke it down real simple. I ain't never seen that man with Youngboy before that situation with Von happened. He using that like a face card to be around him to make them look a little tough. Ike wasn't just talking about the music either. He called out how Lil Tim been moving since the shooting, making songs about it, bragging on stage, acting like he's some type of street legend when, according to Ike, the police was involved, you got off, bro. It ain't like you did some street stuff and it's just left in the streets.
Don't you like Lil Tim? Because do you understand the whole situation or what?
I understand, but it's like, all right, you did what you did, okay.
Because I heard, not to cut you off, but I heard a lot of people from y'all side getting that, some people saying he did with like.
But he'll do what any street nigga will do if a nigga, he got to defend his people. But it's like, all right, you did what you did, that's cool. All right, boom, the police was involved, you got out, bro. It ain't like you did some street shit and like, it's just left in the streets. That shit on some police shit too. At the same time, you get what I'm saying? Like, niggas will do shit. Like, it's a difference from doing some street shit and I know you did some street shit, right? And your name, you in the streets, like your name ring or whatever. But you did some street shit, whatever you claim. But the police was involved in that shit. But it's like, I don't like the way he go about it. Like, how niggas be flexing and shit. Like, don't act like you did some shit and just got away, like, off the chain, like, off that. Like, bro, niggas ain't, like, it's some shit I can't even say. But it's like, I don't like how certain niggas be moving.
But Ike's response went deeper than just calling out Tim's credibility. He questioned the whole narrative around that night in Atlanta. According to Ike and other O-Block members, the situation wasn't as clear-cut as Tim and his supporters been claiming. They saying Von wasn't even the aggressor that night, that the whole thing got twisted in the media to make Tim look like some hero protecting his friend. Bro got lucky, really, Ike said in the interview. It ain't like he was face-to-face with that man. His back was turned, whatever.
It ain't like you just got out, like, on some easy shit, you see what I'm saying? Bro, you got lucky, all you did what you did, you defended you stood your ground, whatever. But it's like, it's just the way like how it be playing out now, like all that on stage and okay, you like yeah, gang, like I don't be liking that gang because bro, Close was a gangster. This is what I'm saying. Niggas ain't doing no like shit like that, bro. It's like, bro, you got lucky, really, bro. Like it ain't like you was on no you ain't finna face this man face to face and just you got lucky. His back was whatever.
He got to be humble about that type shit because the same way he did what he did, that could happen to him too.
He got to be humble, gang. You see what I'm saying? I feel like he ain't humble about that shit, like, cause the same way like you did what you did, that shit could happen to you too, gang. Like,
let me break down the real tea about this beef because it goes way deeper than just one shooting. This whole situation started because King Von and his crew rolled up on Quando Rondo outside that Atlanta hookah spot. Von was known for his street reputation. Dude had multiple bodies under his belt and wasn't backing down from nobody. But here's what people don't understand about Lil Tim. According to Munna Ike and other O-Block members, Tim wasn't no street dude before this situation. He was just Quando's homeboy who happened to be strapped that night. When Von and his crew approached Quando, Tim saw his man's in danger and did what any loyal friend would do. He protected him. The problem is what happened after. Instead of staying quiet and moving smart, Lil Tim started using that situation to build a reputation. He linked up with NBA YoungBoy, started making music about it, and been riding that wave ever since. That's what got O-Block heated. Not just that he killed Von, but how he been moving since. Now let's talk about the NBA YoungBoy connection, because this is where the politics get real messy. YoungBoy and Lil Durk been beefing for years, way before the Von situation. When Tim killed Von, it gave YB the perfect weapon to use against Durk and O-Block. Suddenly, Tim went from being a nobody to being YoungBoy's right-hand man on tour. Ike pointed this out in his interview. I seen Quando Rondo with him before, that's cool. But Tim? Nah. That man using that situation as a face card to be around YoungBoy and make them look tough. The street politics here are complex. Quando Rondo been signed to YoungBoy's 4KT label, and him and YB got a relationship that goes back years. But Tim was just Quando's homeboy from Savannah, who got thrust into the spotlight because of one night in Atlanta. What happened after that TikTok drop was pure chaos. Within hours, the video had millions of views and thousands of comments. Von fans flooded the comment section with threats and disses, while YB fans defended Tim's right to speak his truth. But it wasn't just random fans getting involved. O-Block members started posting their own responses across Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Some posted old videos of King Von, others posted cryptic messages that seemed like direct threats to Tim. The most telling response was an O-Block member who posted a video of himself listening to Von's music with the caption, "Long live Von. We ain't forget nothing." The message was clear. O-Block still considers this an open case, regardless of what the courts decided. Meanwhile, NBA YoungBoy's camp been quiet about the whole situation.
Stuck in this story, Candy Cone. I'm just stuck. Tonight was just a night that I was just running through. That's why my pitch was my pitch, just to get people in here. And I'm just vibing tonight, man. Smoking and listening to shit because I feel like murder, lies, betrayals, scandals, all type of shit is fucking up entertainment. It's been fucking up the households, the community, the ghettos, the trailer parks, the suburbians. That's been going on. But the industry, where people escape music, comedy, right? And people go to entertainment to escape their reality just to have a good time. And when entertaining, they entertain, and that's crazy. So that's what I'm on tonight, y'all. So if y'all see me just vibing, now I'm really listening because if I wasn't on camera right now, I will be listening to this. If I wasn't on camera right now, I would be listening to this and I would be vibing out to maybe 2 in the morning before I go to sleep, maybe 3 in the morning, just, picking up new shit, different vloggers, whoever's are doing this shit. Some of us interested, some of I can read between and tell it's a well put together lie. And I can't lie to y'all. Some of these people, wherever they sit in their house and create content and make thousands and thousands of dollars, maybe hundreds of thousands, maybe even 9 figures, they do a crazy research. Whereas though they have to be like calling certain people, hey, I give you 10,000 or I give you 500 to tell me this. They might have to use like how many 500 goes into 10,000 20 times. So for the average person that's making good money off of YouTube, purposely, I'm gonna say $20,000 to $50,000 a month, they can afford to at least take $5,000 and give to 10 people just in that area, O Block, get so much information and they come up with these docs or man, it'd be crazy. We get crazy views and it'd be like, yo, it would have you just stuck just like I was, because you'd be like, damn, because I grew up in the streets and cameras, audio was dangerous. Recording fights or even speaking about murders, robbery, drug action was out the way. We knew good poets that could put the lifestyle in good words and package it up and make millions. But the average dude that was like, yo, it was certain shit the dudes that tell you don't put in the record. Before, this drill scene came, 50 Cent made a record called Ghetto Quran. He caused so much backlash in his hood. It was 50% of the people was like, bro, he just telling the story of the hood. Dudes got convicted, dudes locked up, dudes got killed. He just telling the story. And other people just felt like we wasn't in it to young kids today. We would say the Stone Age. We were still in like the Stone Age, the early 2000s. So, you know what I'm saying? Late 90s. So it's like, you didn't speak about this thing, over the last 10 years, these cameras and these things that got better and better, and the internet has got humongous. The internet has been out, for the last 25, 30 years. But the last 10 years of like internet access, because even in the 90s, you had, you could jump on a computer and get on different I don't know what the fuck it was called, websites, I guess. You get on different websites, but the computers and shit wasn't, plentiful. Like cell phones and shit in the 90s wasn't plentiful. You know what I mean? Every store wasn't selling cell phones. You know what I'm saying? It was still house lines. Now people could do everything from their phone, 30 years later. You know what I mean? So, but the last 10 years and beyond, bro, technology has took an amazing twist. Technology is beyond normal. If you think about from 2015 to 2025 with fuck it. Let's just be cool. Let's say from 2010 to 2025, the last 15 years, how technology has took in a crazy twist from people going crazy for cable TV to not needing cable TV. You know, from cameras being so expensive to getting cameras for cheap, to seeing, you know, security cameras were only around big buildings and, you know, real big houses. Now is in a project. It's on a project door, a Ring camera. You know, technology in the last 15 years, I just say last 15 years, technology has become so convenient for people to get and be a part of that it's ridiculous. And technology has been out my whole life, but it just wasn't expandable as it is now. And, you know, anybody could, you know, have a cell phone. You know, just 25 years ago, the world wasn't on cell phones. Everyone didn't have a cell phone. You know what I mean? Cell phone companies soared in the last 25 years. Cell phones been out since the 70s in cars and shit like that. But it soared in the last 25 years. You know, in 2000, people were still calling landlines. Now this, you know, 25 years into the 2000s, 75 more years left to here. Imagine it's a year 2020, 5. Imagine year 2021, 2100. You know what I mean? When the 2000 turn into 2100. That's the true 21st century. Like 2100, 75 years. I won't be here. I will not be on planet Earth in 75 years. I will not. I'll be far gone by the year 2100. You know what I mean? 2100. I will be far gone. You know, I will be far gone. But things are just amazing. Things are crazy right now. And I said, damn. You know, when love was love, loyalty was loyalty, betrayal was taken serious, a lie was taken serious, and you was taught not to do it again, has all become a common thing. Murder, you see so many mystery shows and true crime shows, they take you back to 30, 40 years ago with crimes that happened. You know, you see the way that technology went from people was committing a bunch of crimes to now they have DNA. Like, bro, like, you know, and I know people trip off of this. I tell people all the time, like, how you don't want to get older. You know, coming up in the streets, you know, you didn't think you was going to live to be past 25 or at least 30. You know, you just knew 30, that was just too much. You'd be dead or in jail. And unfortunately, I was one of those. I was in jail. But when you get to live to be 40, 50, 60, 70 years old, like, man, you know, that little kid that you was come so far away and you see so much and you learn so much and you able to try to explain to people that's, you know, got another 60, 70 years. You 70 years old and you trying to give knowledge to a 40-year-old that could potentially have this another 30 years out here, and motherfucker don't want to listen, and motherfucker don't hear you out, and motherfucker don't understand. It's like really, really crazy. You know what I'm saying? So I just sit back and think and get in my head like, yo, for the kids, I look at a newborn baby that just was born in 2025. You know, shit be living when 2100 come ahead. You know, when year 2100 come, a newborn babies that's born in the next 10 years will see 2100. That's a beautiful thing. But with the history, culture, because of murder, lies, betrayal in the industry and on TV and in the community, what would a community look like in 75 years? What would a trailer park look like? What would a project look like? What would a poor area look like with all of this technology? What would the world look like? What would be real? How important is pure, authentic, and real is by so much artificial intelligence? Like, you could be who you don't want to be. You could disguise yourself. Like, it's just happening in us older folks' eyes now as we seek. You know what I'm saying? We look at this and we say, oh shit, man. I see you. Like, man, just 25 years from now, I just look at 25 years from now, I'll be what? That would be 450, 71. Be 71 in 25 years. Imagine being born 1979 and living to like 2050. Oh man, like that's a 25 years from today. What would this shit look like? Like, what would it look like? I really think that a lot of people don't think about that. What would this shit look like in 25 years? Everybody that's in the 4 people that's in the chat, I love you. Thank you. But what would it look like 25 years from now? What would it look like? Do you think like that? Whether you, if you're in this chat right now, you 20, you'll be 45. If you're 45, you'll be 70. If you're 35, you'll be 60. If you're 30, you'll be 55. If you're 50, you'll be 75. If you're 60, you'll be 85. If you're 70, you'll be 95. If you 80 and you live to see, you'll be 105 years old. That means you were born 1945 and you live to see 1950. I mean 2050, excuse me, y'all. I just think about that. And I'll be like, yo, what do we think about? 25 years ago, we were thinking about different shit. 25 years later, cars, everything's up in the air. If you notice the way cities are building, they're building up high. They're building up high for shit to land on roofs. Everything is going to go up high. Like, what would the traditional houses look like? What would gardens look like? What would tradition look like in 25 years? I ask myself that all the time. Like, what would tradition look like? What would culture look like, in 25 years? What would hip hop look like? What would neo soul look like? What would gospel look like? What would authors look like? You know what I'm saying? What would movies have come to? What tools in 2050 that will be reused from the 1900s and the 1800s? Will we go back to the caveman time? Will we go to the Jetson time? Like 25 years from now, man, the way technology and these countries are building shit, is different. People just underwater, people in the earth, people on the end of the earth, people are just everywhere they shouldn't be. And I wonder about that. I think about that all the time, and I wonder about that all the time. And I say, with so much murder, betrayal, lies, and cross, and all this shit going on, if that's what's going on, that means that the average person are blind to the fact. And what would the mental brain of the average person coming from the inner city in 25 years? What would the inner city look like? What would the school system look like? Will school exist anymore? You know what I mean? What would prison look like? What would the public transportation look like? What would Uber be? You know what I'm saying? I think about that from that. What would STEM research be like? How important would drones be? You know what I mean? How important it is to get computer knowledge and artificial intelligent knowledge now. You know what I mean? How is it important to learn robotics and STEMs? How important is this to learn, or how important it is to equip your children and the people that will be 50 and 25 and 30 years old, 25 years from now? How do we equip them to be able to take care of the family members that, are just, outdated to be out there flying around and doing a whole bunch of shit that's going on? How do you create a circumference that everybody is safe during the change of time? Mentally, physically, financially, protected. How do you do that? But I know a lot of ghetto families not thinking like that because we're blocked from the murders the lies, the betrayal, everything that goes on in the world. What would entertainment look like? Nevertheless, what would the ghetto look like? Please hit that notification button, hit that subscribe button, drop a like, leave a comment. If you don't like nothing I did tonight, go into my portfolio and check out my art, man. I guarantee you'll get to know me. No fuck shit, no fake shit, no foolishness. Anything you say can and will be used against you on the internet. Rado Podcast. Be on the lookout for when I'm dropping Thanksgiving. Be on the lookout for double hitters. Be on the lookout for like a crazy streaming process, all night type shit. Just be on the lookout. No fuck shit, no fake shit, no foolishness. I'm 46. Yep, 46. 46. So no fuck shit, no fake shit, no foolishness. Anything you say can and will be used against you on internet. Please subscribe to my channel. Please donate to my channel. Please just look out. I'm doing this myself. You know what I mean? Like I'm doing this myself, independent content creator. Like I said, go onto my portfolio and check it out.